Okay, good evening, everybody.
For being on board right away with the Save America Act and supporting it. Where is it right now in the Senate? Will there be a talking filibuster? You have 50 votes.
Yeah. Well, first, no one the importance of every legitimate vote counting to me. I lost my first race by 900 votes. I won my second by 15,000 out of 7 million cast. So this is a huge, huge thing. 50% of Americans more don't trust on our elections. So we've got to fix that. The Save America Act fixes that by ensuring that legally, it's already a requirement by law, that a person has to prove their citizenship before they register to vote. Seems pretty basic. Second, that when they show up, just like when you show up to buy beer, when you show up to get on an airplane, when you show up to give blood, you got to show an ID. Those are the two requirements. And that's what the Save America Act does. It's an 80-20 issue. Yes. The Democrats resist it. We've got to make them stand on the floor of the Senate and defend their opposition. If a body of 100 can't get 60 votes for an 80-20 issue, we're completely dysfunctional.
So you're going to do it, the talking filibuster?
I'm for the talking filibuster. I'm for them
defending
this position, which is
you have someone who's very defensible.
Yes.
Guest here with you from the coal mining industry. Is it from the coal industry?
It's
U.S. Steel.
Yeah.
This is something that's been brought back.
He's here.
I think we can. Yep.
He's a good fan, but he's a really important person to have as a guest.
I know we want to be respectful of everyone's time, but perhaps like maybe just like an introduction. And what is this is man, gentlemen, this is what people want to see.
Yeah,
people want to see like American manufacturing back. People want to see like American grit and steel back. They want to see American coal mining back. All of the great things that Pennsylvania is known for.
This is one of the biggest things that has happened in Pennsylvania. So this is Jason Zugai. He was the president. He's now the vice president of the local United Steelworkers Union 2227.
Nice.
And these are the guys that were at the rallies with President Trump. Perfect. They were at the rallies with President Trump, and President Trump initially. Why don't you go on over, Jason? Have a seat. Initially, was initially opposed to the Nippon deal. After reviewing it and really making it better, Nippon did this deal with U.S. Steel, and this was incredible. This saved steelmaking in the Mon Valley. It's been a huge boost for advanced manufacturing across the country. $14 billion of new investment. This is one of the many things President Trump delivered to Pennsylvania. Jason, maybe a word on.
Jason, I'm just gonna put the mic over here to you. Man, it's all yours, man. What's the president done for manufacturing in this country, bringing steel back to America? You can't win a war without steel.
That's right. You have to have steel in America. So he approved the merger between Nippon and United States Steel. $15 billion investment and for purchase it, and then another $14 billion to invest into all the facilities and improve steelmaking in the United States, which is huge for us.
People are going to say, yo, you're a union member. There's no way you'll vote Republican. And there's no way any union will back a Republican. What do you say?
It's not like that anymore. I mean, it's the majority of the men and women that work in my facility here vote Republican. Yeah. So I met the senator at a Trump rally before the election, and I was telling him everything that I could say about the deal and trying to get him on board, and told me when I get elected, you'll be my first meeting. I was his first meeting. We talked. He took it from there, got in Trump's ear. We talked, many times throughout it, and the president signed the deal, made it official. So we're forever grateful for the senator and the president.
And I can't tell you, Benny, what a big deal this is for Pennsylvania, but what a big deal it is for the country to be back on our front foot on domestic steelmaking. And it goes across all of manufacturing. It's happening in Pennsylvania. This is one good example. There's data centers, there's energy infrastructure. Hanwha bought the Philadelphia shipyard. We see this with Eli Lilly just announced a new plant in the Lehigh Valley, $3.5 billion of investment. Westinghouse just got an order for $85 billion worth of nuclear reactors. This manufacturing renaissance is happening in Pennsylvania. It's happening across the country. It's happening because of these policies. It's creating great jobs. Nippon U.S. Steel was the first of many things that have just in the last year. It's been remarkable.
It's fundamental. It's fundamental, honestly, to America first. Like the way that Pennsylvania goes. Everybody wants to say Florida, my Pennsylvania, please, right? Like I've been to Pennsylvania, traveled to Pennsylvania, always go there to watch my Hawkeyes get their asses kicked in wrestling. Sucks for me, but it is. It is.
This guy knows wrestling too.
My man, it is a great. You guys are gonna have a great year, man. Just legends. Kale's the legend. Final question. What do you want to see from your state, from the people of Pennsylvania? Obviously, a great energy state, great grit state. So many
Daniel, we got the State of the Union here, going to be here shortly. But I'm going to do some intel. I'm going to play the image guy that we play with all the images has a good one. It's 6 minutes. And then I'm going to play a whole bunch of more cemetery videos. I'm going to get them all in order here. Ah. So I'm going to go ahead and get some intel in right now, you guys. Hopefully people will be coming in here while we're doing intel. I'm going to log into Telegram. That's weird. Chico. Hang on a second. What are you doing? You don't need that. Fine. Chico, you don't need no more food. Okay, no more. God damn it. Just 6 minutes, you guys.
To make you fearless, like it made me. Well, if you're brave, you should stick around. And if you're not brave, you should really stick around. Now I want to show you that in the book of Enoch, stars are explicitly described as fallen angels, and there were 200 of them, 200 that descended to earth to marry human women. And stars are explicitly described as fallen angels. And geologists have identified nearly 200 confirmed meteor impacts. These star wounds are all across the earth. And what did these 200 watchers or fallen angels or stars do again? Oh, they descended to earth to marry human women. Just like Genesis 6:2 says, the sons of God saw that daughters of men were beautiful, and they took them as wives. The sons of God. Now, instead of fallen angels or watchers, they're called the sons of God, which can mean angelic beings or fallen angels. Now, if you haven't seen my videos where I continue to prove over and over and over again that people from our past, like President Fillmore, looks exactly like Alec Baldwin, but also shares the exact same scarring and facial marks. But not only that, but their wives always look the exact same. Let me show you a few. That's Robin Williams and his wife. That's President Teddy Roosevelt and his wife. You know who, and you know who, and Andrew Jackson and his wife. George and Martha Washington. And well, you can see it if you just, that's Glenn Close and her husband. That's Jake Gyllenhaal and President Nixon. President Nixon's wife, Jake Gyllenhaal's wife, maybe girlfriend. Anthony Hopkins, President Buchanan, Ryan Gosling, his wife Eva Mendes, Franklin Roosevelt, his wife Eleanor, Aaron Rodgers and the guy that played Herman Munster in The Monsters, and his wife and his former girlfriend. And recently I did a video on John Travolta, who played an angel in the movie Michael. And hey, that's Nicolas Cage, who also played an angel in the movie City of Angels, a movie about an angel who falls in love and then gets banished down to earth. John Travolta, who was in an angel movie, a movie called Face Off, who suspiciously looks like Joe Namath and this guy from the 1800s. And that's John's wife, and that's Joe's wife. Oh, and Nicolas Cage, who I said also played an angel in that movie. Well, I've done a video on how Nicolas Cage used to be Andy Kaufman because they faked their deaths because they don't die, and you would notice if they were never dying. Oh, and that's Andy Kaufman's wife and Nicolas Cage's wife. And Nicolas Cage says, no, I'm not a vampire, when this 140-year-old picture from the Civil War surfaces that looks more than just a little like him. No, he's not a vampire. He's a fallen angel. And personally, I don't think these 200 craters from star wounds weren't from them coming down, but coming up out of the bottomless pit, as in the pit that Satan and all his angels were held in during the 1,000 years, and then released,
It's only the first
released
okay.
to test humanity one last time by deceiving the nations. And well, if those 200 watchers were released, do you think their wives would be released with them? Their wives that were transformed into sirens to lead humanity astray? It kind of sounds like deceiving the nations. Not only have you been deceived to not believe in angels and to think you're an evolved chimp spinning on a globe, but our timeline has also been a deception because we are past that. We are during the deceiving part when you are being tested by God's fallen angels. The question is, what side is winning? What side are you on? Are you falling for the temptations of the flesh and worshiping all of the fallen? Or are you turning your eyes to the skies and worshiping our spiritual father? Of course, all this is for entertainment purposes, and I definitely don't think they tell us the truth in movies. Entertainment only.
He can give up his existence as he knows it and become one of us. You choose to fall to earth. And when you wake up, you're human.
No more.
Nicolas Cage. It's impossible. Some things are true whether you believe them or not. You choose to fall to earth. You take the plunge, the tumble, the dive. You jump off a bridge, you leap out a window, you just make up your mind to do it, and you do it. Human. Listen, kid. He gave these bozos the greatest gift in the universe. You think he didn't give it to us, too? Which gift? Free will, brother. Free will.
When I see the new products, it's great to know that everything that I've been a part of has made that possible.
Okay, I'm going to do the cemetery now, you guys. I'm going to do a bunch of them here. We got about 10 of them, then we'll stop. Because they're all standing in the thing here, so we'll get all the clips here. Maria! Okay, that's one. The Brady Bunch. What do you think, Kay? They have angels' wings, and some do and some don't. Alice. Oh, yep. I remember that one. Oh, okay. Number 3. Oh, remember her. Oh, yep. Top Gun lady. Oh, she's alive. Don't have the wings on. I think this is pretty cool. Good to know about all this. What do you guys think? Okay, number 4. Okay, number 5. Okay, number 6. Oh, that's that one. Okay, I'm gonna stop for now on these. I'm gonna do. The guy on TikTok came out. We'll make this the last one. Einstein. Okay, so we got quite a bit out on those. Okay, this one's 3 minutes. The guy on TikTok. See if I got.
Just moments ago, the Department of Justice Civil Rights Office is suing UCLA over alleged anti Semitic hostile work environment. Stay with me. This is, major stuff where UCLA has basically looked the other way, knowing that an anti Semitic hostile environment existed and they did nothing about it. The department claimed, and this is a quote from Just the News. Actually, it's from the Department of Justice. The department claimed that UCLA failed to act when Jewish professors were assaulted in 2024 while they went to their classes in Royce Hall, and that swastikas were also allegedly graffitied onto the buildings. I want folks to understand that the anti-Semitic, I guess what you might say, culture in this country, coming from the Marxists and coming from the extreme left, is nothing new. But when you have our institutions looking the other way and failing to act to mitigate this environment in their schools, they are complicit. This is a crime of major I guess what you might say, proportions. I mean, when I say major proportions, they're actually facilitating it. This is not just in UCLA. This is across our universities across the nation. We have the Marxists literally allowing the students to create an environment that is unsafe for professors and students of the Jewish faith to actually go to school or teach in their classes. This is part of the Marxist political warfare being waged on this country by the Marxist machine that I write about in my book and that I talk about in our documentaries. This is a war on you and I, on Christians and the Judeo Christian nation, or the Judeo Christian people in this country. This is, I mean, if you do not think this is war on the Jewish people and good conservative Christian people, I beg you to reconsider. This is getting worse by the day. And finally, the Department of Justice is taking action.
Okay, that's another big video there. Come on. CBS News contributor. Okay, I'm going to play one more 2-minute and we'll do a check-in. Trump's supposed to be heading to depart.
Top of the pyramid. Now, guess who just resigned from Goldman Sachs? Obama's top attorney. Now, she was all in the files.
2.5.
I call them the Island Boy files, because if I say his name, they're going to end up kicking my video out and they won't put it into the algorithm. So I'm going to start calling him the Island Boy, and y'all know who I'm talking about. She was all in Island Boy's files. And now all of a sudden, it's getting to where the people around her are getting implicated because she's at Goldman Sachs, all about money. Island Boy was all about money and financing things. There's her name attached to a bunch of documents, and everybody in these documents will be researched. See, when Trump opened up the documents, he didn't really, all the people who were searching for names and dates and times and all that, it was all being logged. Everything was being logged the whole time. And now they're upset saying that Trump set them up. He opened the files up to allow us to search for everything and unredacted everything. But then he started finding out who was looking at what files. He set us all up. Why do you think Obama's top attorney, she dipped out, she bailed, resigned? Because I'm telling you, he is at the top of the pyramid. There's a lot going on. And right now he's pretty quiet about everything. You see, he don't talk about the files that often because he knows exactly what's going on. He can implicate himself. Then he's involved in perjury, things like that. His top attorney, she's out of there. I'm telling you, Trump he played a great chess game. He let everybody egg him on. Open the files, open the files, open the files. He unredacted it. Everybody ran to the files and it was all digital. He did it online. Everybody was online looking up all the names and everything. They were tracking every single person who was looking up names and what names they were looking for, whether or not they were searching for, looking up keywords and statements. Everybody got set up. See, now if Trump was in the files, don't you think they would have released something by now? He unleashed all the files. The DOJ had these files for almost a decade. Why is nothing about Trump out in the open? 10 years they had these files. Why is nothing about Trump out there? But all of these Democrats are in. I'm telling y'all, check out the video in my pinned comments. You will understand what I'm talking about.
That guy's good. Wonder why my screen is... That's weird. Okay, let's see what channel we're going to play this. I don't know if Benny's going to be airing it or what. Well, I guess we'll go to RSBN till. God, how long of a commercial is it? Dang it. RSBN, where are you?
We're at an important time with recess happening. And then many Democrats individually didn't show up to the Clinton deposition that they didn't show up to now. Now they're scheduled for this week. And where is it? New York. So they will be traveling. Many members will be traveling to New York later this week. And I guess there is posing the question as to why members are having to travel to these individuals. And even Wexner's lawyer came out on X stating that, they agreed to this. So they put the location where the deposition would be. It was in Ohio. So the GOP members agreed to this, leadership agreed to this. And I think there's a question as to why there is special treatment for people like the Clintons and Wexner, why they don't have to, be walked into Washington, D.C. like a regular American would. So I think there's an argument there that, you can spend time with your constituents where you need to, but also, this is a very important issue to many constituents themselves. And so where should members be spending their time? Should they have allotted, a certain amount of GOP members to go to this or, be placed there? I think that's the question. And I think it caught a lot of people's eye, especially on Thursday and Friday of last week after the deposition.
I believe the members of the Trump family also had to travel to the nation's capital during the lawfare saga of Russia, in turn with everything else with the lawfare and Eric Trump, who is probably the most investigated human being and subpoenaed human being in human history. But we see, Ashley, as well, that New Mexico and their state legislature, because of that ranch that Jeffrey Epstein owned, along with Ghislaine Maxwell attending on many different occasions, are now looking at this from a state level. Can you look into that investigation and tell us some developments there?
Yeah, so this is one of the areas, Epstein had 3 estates. It was the Virgin Islands island, the well-known Epstein Island that everybody calls it. He had his New York townhome, as well as Zorro Ranch, which is located in New Mexico near Santa Fe. And basically lawmakers, they had a closed criminal case take place in 2019. They closed it. They found no evidence of anything, but there's been speculation of what happened at that ranch when Epstein owned it, and with Ghislaine Maxwell and the sexual misconduct that from alleged victims like Annie Farmer that said that they were traveled out there, and that's where much of the misconduct took place. And so I think there is a looming question due to the idea that it's in a rural area of what was happening there. And the case in 2019 was closed. Now the state legislature has opened up a new subcommittee to look into this more, and they are using some of the funds that were paid out during that time period in 2019. I think about 2.9 million, I want to say, is around that number. I might have that wrong. It's in the piece though. So feel free to go look there. But I think that there's also been a development in the last few days that I've received a statement from the New Mexico Department of Justice stating that they will be reopening a criminal investigation as well into the Zero Ranch there due to the nature of the documents that have been released by the DOJ. They have also sent a letter to federal authorities at the DOJ in Washington, D.C., asking for help in the investigation and some other things like that. So I put that statement out on X. Anyone can go take a look at that. But I think New Mexico is one of those areas, and Zorro Ranch itself, due to the fact there was not a lot of eyes there in comparison to places like the Virgin Islands and New York City and the access. I think people have a lot of questions about that, property that he owned, who he bought it from, who was invited there. Multiple individuals said they visited the ranch. So I think it's one of those areas of the wider Epstein scheme that needs to be looked at. And, that was a domestic property within the United States that he owned. So I think it's going to be very interesting keeping an eye on developments there.
Well, thank you for staying so closely on this, as I'm sure, as you mentioned, we'll be talking a lot about this throughout the year. Now, one of the more bizarre stories, and again, happy that you do the journalism. That's the big criticism of right, left, and center, and those so-called mainstream outlets, that they ignore some of these stories. Congressman Tony Gonzalez's office, a very sad story, an alleged affair with him and a staffer, which I believe is against House rules, if not all congressional rules, when it comes to intimate relationships with staffers. In addition to that, though, the situation where she set herself on fire and committed suicide, just absolutely terrible. Can you tell us about this story?
Yes, well, this happened. Regina Santos Aviles was the one that set herself afire. She was a regional director for Tony Gonzalez, and down in Texas. He's out of, I believe, the San Antonio area. Her home was in Uvalde, Texas, though. So this is where her death took place. And there was I guess, circulation and going on in Texas for months about an alleged affair. So the Daily Caller, we dug into this a little further. We were asking for coroner reports as well, talking to the local police department of any foul play, which there seems to have been ruled there is none. But, really tragic death that caught a lot of eyes. And the rumor mill started, as it does, down in Texas, and it made its way up to D.C. So we've been sticking on this for months. But now an outlet out of San Antonio, they broke text messages that were sent between Santos Alvias. And so they basically stating that the staffer and him were having an affair, she admitting that to the other staffer. He has currently left the office now and working in other campaigns. But the Daily Caller, had other sources stating the exact same thing, that there was an affair going on. We've stuck on this. And I think it's a really tragic scenario. It also has been reported that Gonzalez has been under a House Ethics complaint and investigation for over a year now. We were also reaching out for House Ethics for months, trying to figure out if that was true. Good. And so Gonzalez is in a heated primary currently. And so we've been doing polling if the public knew about the, alleged affair going on. And polling has shown since November that people have begun to notice it, which way they would vote in the GOP primary in that district. So it will be in a very interesting race. It seems that the NRCC has continued to put support behind Gonzalez in this race, and as well as the president has endorsed Gonzalez, which there's been calls for him to unendorse him. So it's a developing story, and we'll continue to see what happens. But it seems that the text messages have resurfaced between the two.
Ashley Brassfield, reporter for the Daily Caller. Where can we find all of your good work?
I am on X at Brassfield Ashley. I'm on Instagram at Ashley E. Brassfield. And you can find my work with pieces on the Daily Caller's social media accounts, as well as our website on my profile.
And we'll continue to follow and watch and have you on the right side of history. Ashley Brassfield, thank you for joining us for our continued coverage of State of the Union 2026. And we'll see you again soon on the right side of history.
Thank you for having me.
Have you looked at your credit card statement recently? You could be working 50, 40, or even 80 hours a week. And it's truly unbelievable as you put all of that time in when you don't see that money coming back to serve you. So call today, American Financing, my good friends and patriots, refinancing on your home. Save an average of $800 per month. Just call today. Do not delay. It's 888-402-0299. Buying groceries, gas, things you used to have as affordable here in America. Credit card companies changing the way you can access these life-saving necessities, now privileges. Think about that. Over 20%. It's designed to keep you underwater, something that this administration trying to fight back on. But don't have to play their game with the credit card companies, American financing, doing something the big credit card companies actually hate. They're actually helping people. So right now, they have mortgage rates in the 5s. They're showing homeowners how to take their hand and take control of this today, wiping out equity and that high interest debt rate, because you just don't want that to happen at all when it comes to refinancing with American financing. Again, call today, save an average of $800 per month, 888-402-0299. The average savings, again, $800 per month. So it's not too shabby, as it takes 10 minutes to call into a salary-based mortgage consultant, no upfront fees. And it all gets done for you right there with the great patriots at American Financing. If you start today, you could delay 2 mortgage payments. So you're looking at a savings of $1,600 right off the bat. So give my friends a call over there at American Financing, 888-402-0299. Thank you for sponsoring us on the right side of history. And be sure to get the popcorn tonight, perhaps your favorite beverage, soft drink, or adult beverage for the State of the Union at the top of the hour. You can go to kalshi.com/RSBN for a special tonight. $10 off of that first trade or bet. Will President Trump say fake news during the State of the Union? Anything about fraud or affordability? Perhaps Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe Biden? Feel free to write into RSBN if you wish to opine if it will be Sleepy, Crooked, or the Auto Pen, any of those. Or if they'll even shake hands tonight. We know that 70 Democrats refusing to attend the State of the Union on this fine Tuesday, February 24th. So take those bets and trades right there to kalshi.com/RSBN. It is music, sports, politics, culture, and more. You're watching it. You're living the front row of history. So you might as well make a trade and bet there at Kalshi. Scan that QR code now. And what do you think President Trump will say tonight? It's supposed to be a big speech, a star-studded speech. And we'll get that at the top of the hour with real-time ratings right there. 54% chance that President Trump will say fake news. What say you at kalshi.com/RSBN? The president right now enjoying a 42% approval rating. This is somewhat down across the channels from last year at this time, slightly over that 50% mark. We'll see if that changes a bit after the State of the Union on this evening, as many Americans do tune in for this after the football season, after that glorious victory by the men's hockey team against Canada. Same with the ladies on the other side, defeating our Canadian friends to the north, winning gold. It's the bald eagle over the Canadian goose every single time. And Jack Hughes with that golden shot, 46 years to the day, successful in winning gold for the United States of America. The difference with that team that faced the Soviets, mostly in college, mostly amateurs, led by Herb Brooks. But as you're watching this, some professionals coming together to play for the good old US of A. They will be in the house tonight as we welcome into Right Side Broadcasting Network, Michael Kunzler, the co-owner of All Family Pharmacy. Get your deals right now at allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Code RSBN10 for all of those discounts. Michael, we just are about to hear from the President of the United States. Low healthcare costs, all that access, right to try, most favored.
I don't know about that one, you guys. Let's see if we get better. Yeah, Benny's better, Flying Eagle, I think. Yeah, Benny's showing everything.
And then here comes all the I think all the dorky staffers. And I think maybe we'll have some administration officials up next. I want to just close out, Jeremy. Like, again, there's just been they got bottleneck.
no.
DC traffic, classic DC traffic
Oh,
shot here. So you have to walk.
hurry
They walk from the Senate. It's such a funny
Yeah,
tradition.
say
They walk
that.
from the Senate down this red carpet straight through the Capitol building. I used to have a show back before we had all this great team and equipment and everything. I would just stand there on the. I know it's an amazing team. And thank you so much, Jeremy, for being a partner tonight. It's been such a wild, fun success.
My basketball game's on at 9.
I used to just stand there on the red carpet and ask them, "Who are you wearing?"
Anyway,
I would ask, like it's the fashion show. Like, you used to just ask all these senators that, and they wouldn't know what the hell to say to me. Huh? What? Clothes? Like, what? Lady Bryant.
Oh, that's great.
Who are you wearing? Like they do at the Oscars or whatever, right?
Yeah,
because it's kind of like an Oscars. It's like this is like a kind of goofy tradition, like a red carpet thing.
It's a big night. They actually probably laid out what they were going to wear. They talked about it, right? They're put into it. I like the question a lot. It humanizes them for sure.
What are you wearing? That's where I'd be, man, if we didn't have this this great program who we're deeply, deeply thankful for. Our sponsors at America First Policy and our there's the buzzer inside of the room. We didn't set off the fire alarm. Nobody's smoking in here. Although Troy Nels, who was just on, does smoke cigars in his office. I have smoked a cigar with Troy Nels inside. You can still smoke inside the Capitol, and you can light a fire inside the Capitol. Beautiful fireplace. Here's Mike Johnson gaveling in and then demanding that everybody get seated. President Trump again inbound. You saw the motorcade roll out. And everybody is taking their seats. Okay, Jeremy, we got only a few more minutes here because the president, again, is inbound. He's going to walk in at 9 o'clock. So we got it ready. JD Vance is in the house.
There he is.
Yep, there we go. There he is. What are we the most excited about as far as a fiscal policy to hear tonight? Is there any type of like moonshots that you want to hear? Is there anything for the American economy? You're a big time financial guy. Anything for the American economy you want to see?
I would love to hear anything that he's going to say regarding the jobs, the Fed rate cuts. People have to understand that the Federal Reserve and their rate cuts, that environment and what that does for the economy, what that does for your retirement accounts is massive. So anything that I can hear and I'm listening for regarding him cutting these rates, we're in a rate cutting cycle right now, which causes gold prices to go up historically. This is the fourth one of the century. Each time gold prices have gone up at least 50% during each one of those times. So I'm looking for what is he going to do? What is that shot that he's going to do to inject into our economy? And then he's going to talk about the tariffs. He's going to be bringing up the tariffs. And what exactly is he going to do when it comes to these tariffs? How is he going to implement them? Because again, these strategies are there to help us bring in revenue. So we don't have to raise taxes. American people have to understand what he's trying to do. And again, this is the golden era, and it's causing these actions and these policies are also great for gold and silver.
We will wait and see the golden era there before us. Thank you very much, Jeremy, from Advantage Gold. Thank you for being a partner with us, along with the American First Policy Institute. And join us in person next time, man. It's fun up here.
I'd be honored. God bless you, Benny. Thank you so much, man.
God bless you, Jeremy. Thank you, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We have JD Vance rolling deep. JD Vance rolling deep, taking selfies, snapping a few selfies. I don't know if I've seen a JD Vance, Scott Pressler selfie. I don't know. Scott Pressler, very, very excited to be joining the program. Very excited to be joining the stream. A man who needs no introduction, the great Scott Pressler. I'm surprised that you're not sitting up on the stage with the president. You've been on such a rampage, Scott.
Thank you, Benny J. Well, it feels like I live on Capitol Hill at this point. I've been meeting with a lot of those members of Congress, but I'm where I need to be back home in Pennsylvania, and I will be joining a debate watch party imminently. So thank you for having me.
Okay, so so you're back in Pennsylvania. We had Senator McCormick on the stream just a little bit ago, and he's sounds like he's doing great, representing the state great. He sold the SAVE Act like really hard. And he was talking about how critical it is to make sure that the SAVE Act gets passed. This is something that you've devoted practically your life to, this side of registering Republican voters. But it's actually your work with registering Republican voters that makes you so locked in for the SAVE Act, right? I mean, because this makes it invalidates all of your work when millions and millions of illegals can vote. Is that correct?
Exactly. You know, I spend all day, every day trying to get out the vote. And I hear constantly from people, Scott, why should I vote if my vote is going to be negated by a fraudulent vote? And it just makes my work that much harder. And at the end of the day, here's what I come to. 2024, we duly elected a Republican House, a Republican Senate, and a Republican White House. And the voters not only expect their votes to be secure, but the voters demand action. And besides hearing, why should I vote? I hear, why should I give Republicans the majority if when they are in power, they do not wield that majority in order to push forward President Trump's agenda? And so, Benny, tonight, I want to hear President Trump invoke the Save America Act on the floor. And more importantly, I want to hear President Trump invoke that senators must pass the agenda, that the House has done its job. Otherwise, President Trump's not even going to be a 2-year president. He deserves all 4 years. He deserves his agenda to go forward, and the American people demand action.
It was a remarkable thing this morning to have Mike Lee on the program. And Mike said that Scott Pressler is an example of what can happen when a single American decides that they are going to.
With Whoop, start improving your fitness from day one with real-time.
Quite frankly, in politics. Yeah, he said that you have a cop been sleeping in the hallways up here. I don't even think that's legal, Scott. But he said that, you know, you've been and I think anybody who's been following online knows that you've been a one-man wrecking crew for this issue. Can you give us? And that's what he said. He said, Susan Collins, there wouldn't be 50 votes without Scott Pressler. That's precisely what he said. I'll get the clip and I'll send it to you, Scott.
Wow. Thank you.
Can you tell us and our audience, because this is your first time on recently talking about this.
Yes.
Can you tell us and our audience, how did you do that, Scott? What was the message that you sent to the senators? Many of them, obviously, you know, from states where some senators that aren't wanting to support the president's agenda. Very hard to get 50 votes on anything in the Senate. How did you do that?
Well, thank you, Benny. Today is day 55 of asking kindly and respectfully for Senate Majority Leader Thune to bring the Save America Act to the Senate floor for debate. But I'm not in this alone. We've had millions of Americans calling, emailing, writing handwritten letters, showing up to meet their members of Congress. And I do believe that maximum peaceful pressure campaign has ultimately gotten on board. Even Senator Thune is now a co-sponsor. As you just mentioned, Susan Collins is a supporter of the Save America Act. But one thing that was invaluable is I have to give a shout out to the Republican Study Committee, which is chaired by Texas Congressman Pfluger. You know what happened, Benny? In the past week, I had the opportunity to speak at the Republican Study Committee before 50 members of Congress. And in the same kind of tone that I'm speaking to you right now, very matter of fact, but deliberate, I told that body, you're doing your job, but it is the senators that if they do not pass the Save America Act and secure our elections and therefore inspire voters to vote, that really it's the Senate's inaction that is putting your jobs, your seats in the House of Representatives at risk. And I think that really kind of sunk in. I was just recently with Mike Collins out of Georgia. He just endorsed the talking filibuster. Lauren Boebert talks about the Save America Act every single day. So the House gets it. but it is all of you at home, the Benny J community, and everyone across America that has been peacefully and respectfully telling their members of Congress, we elected you as the majority, and we are expecting you to wield that power on behalf of us. And we're not done. The last thing I want to say, Benny J, I'm so sorry, is we're announcing a Save America tour. So Senate Majority Leader John Thune, I'm coming to Rapid City, South Dakota on March 21st. I'm coming to Sioux Falls on March 22nd. I'm coming to Wake County, North Carolina, to make sure that we're sealing the deal with Tom Tillis, Senator, on March 24th. And we're going to do peaceful rallies in the backyards of any senator that has not yet come on board with the Save America Act. And of course, we extend that opportunity and invitation to you, Benny.
I will gladly join you. Let's go to the place that's going to make the most ruckus. Obviously, I think North Carolina might be a big one. South Dakota and North Carolina, absolutely. Oh, I would love to do that, Scott. I would love to hit the road. That'd be amazing. I have a ride at those things, and it's been a long time since you and I held the campaign rally together. So let's do that. This is the Save America tour.
Yes,
this is called
the Save America tour on behalf of the Save America Act. I thought it was good branding. I thought it works.
Now look at this. Here's Lisa Murkowski here on screen. I'm not sure if you can see the screen, Scott, but here's Lisa Murkowski. She said no. She said no. Many people saying that her election was quite dodgy and a little shady, and maybe that's why she doesn't like voter ID. So the politicians who won in very sketchy elections hate the Save America Act.
Benny?
No, I'm not going nowhere. I got to watch my Arizona, Michigan games are on tonight, and the one game starts at 9. No, I'm good. I'm staying up.
We're coming to Alaska too. And I want to give the chairwoman of the Alaska GOP, Carmela, I want to give her huge kudos, because you know what's happening? Ranked choice voting is currently lawful in Alaska. You know what Chairwoman Carmela has done? She worked tirelessly with the grassroots, collected signatures, and this November 2026, Benny, they're going to have on the ballot repealing ranked choice voting in the state of Lisa Murkowski. This is the way that we do it. Grassroots organizing at the state level.
Nice. It's complete garbage up there in Alaska. Ranked choice voting is designed by leftists and Democrats in order to split and destroy any potential America First vote. It's designed in order to get rid of the will of the people so that the will of the special interests and corporations can always win, and the will of billionaires like George Soros can always win. This is why George Soros came up with it. So it's terrible. Well done, Scott. Awesome. I really look forward to that. We have 15-minute warning. Actually, sorry, 13-minute warning right now. Okay, so we're going to hear clearly the president's going to talk about the Save America Act. And I think the president should absolutely talk about how we get that over the finish line. What else do you want to hear, Scott? Nobody is more well-traveled across the country than you. Something that obviously I think hits my heartstrings. And as I watch kind of the drums of war bang for Iran, that's fine. You know, it's fine. But I think that people from Pennsylvania, I know this is where you're from, people from New Jersey, you spent so much time there. I think that these people really want to hear domestic policies that say the pothole in front of your house is more, like fixing that is more important than putting a new pothole in the Middle East.
Amen. Well, at the end of the day, what did the people vote for in 2024? They voted for deportations, removing illegal aliens from our country. And quite frankly, if we deport 20 million illegal aliens, we no longer in America have a housing crisis. And we can bring down costs for young people. We can bring down costs for senior citizens. We're bringing down the gas. We're putting forth energy independence. We're securing the border. But how appropriate or how kind of coincidental is it, Benny, that during a partial government shutdown, when the Democrats are putting our country, our people at risk, not fully funding the Department of Homeland Security, you have the cartel in Mexico, our southern neighbor, literally torching the state. Here's what I want to see. If there are any strategists out there in the Congress, I want to see the House of Representatives put forth a bill, basically putting forth a resolution, making the Democrats choose between supporting the cartel and actually supporting the American people. And I want them to force this issue that it is the Democrats that are not funding our country, and any violence that comes to our shores from the cartel, and by the way, the cartel is currently in our country, actively working, is going to be because of the Democrats shutting down our government and choosing politics over people. And I really hope he focuses on that issue of the Department of Homeland Security, because that is at the heart of the majority of Americans. We voted for a secure border. We voted for Kristi Noem. We voted for DHS. We voted to deport criminal illegal aliens.
And we voted for secure elections and voter ID. Hakeem Jeffries was just on, slapping people's backs, right? And ham boning it up. And it's amazing, dude. These guys, we're talking about Senator Kennedy, these guys, they use their IDs to vote against voter ID.
Yes.
What the hell is that, Scott? What is that exactly?
Well, apparently it's racist, right? Why is Hakeem Jeffries not saying that it's racist to vote? I was with Derek Van Orden, a wonderful Wisconsin congressman. He pulls out his ID when he's showing me a tour of the Capitol and Congress, and he goes, "Scott, I cannot vote without this electronic ID." So Democrats need to get their act together, and that's why we're asking Benny for a talking filibuster to bring the Save America Act to the Senate floor, and it's going to have to be Spartacus, Cory Booker, who's going to have to tell 84% of Americans why he is against legislation that 76% of the Black community supports, 82% of Latinos support, 85% of white Americans support, the majority of Democrats, the overwhelming majority of Republicans, and clearly the American people support this bill. So force the Democrats to tell the popular vote why they are against that legislation. It's going to be a slam dunk, and we can fundraise off of that. And the Democrats are going to look so, they're going to engage in tomfoolery trying to talk against it.
Well, I mean, I thought this was a brilliant strategy because a lot of these Democrats don't speak English. Have you ever heard Mazie Hirono talk? You ever heard her talk? She doesn't talk. She doesn't talk in sentences. She don't speak English. Some of these Democrats, they're just walking in. Mitch McConnell, he can't even stand anymore. Mitch McConnell would probably help the Democrats in their filibuster against this. They can't even stand. So you could use that against them, and I think that'd be really special. It's brilliant, Scott. We're just so proud of you. We're thankful for you bringing us to this moment. We got 5 minutes before the President Trump is due. Now, Mike Johnson is going through some of the orders of business for the House. We're going to listen in here, and we're going to say thank you to Scott Presler. God bless you, man. You're an American hero, bro.
Thank you, Benny.
Saving this
See you
republic.
soon, my friend.
See you.
Bye.
All right, here we go. We're bringing in Mike Johnson. We got Mike Johnson. He's pounding the gavel. He's chatting it up. He just made some big announcement. They still got some dorks rolling in. There we go.
All right. Speaker, the acting dean of the diplomatic corps.
Uh-oh. So now they do their little thing. Now they got the little diplomatic corps. Whatever that is. Oh, it's Monica Crowley. We love Monica Crowley. Okay, sorry. Not gonna hate on Monica Crowley. So they're gonna bring in the cabinet now, right? You get the cabinet, and I think you get the Supreme Court comes rolling up. Monica Crowley, she's great. We love her. We're gonna get our little.
And we are live. The speech and the president should be entering in about 8-10 minutes or so.
Okay.
The dean of the diplomatic corps, by the way, is Percy Kayota. He is the ambassador of Palau, and he has been in office since 1997. The dean is the longest-serving ambassador in Washington. It's an honorary title.
No.
But then many ambassadors will attend this. In just a minute, you'll hear the Supreme Court. announced.
Hey,
They
look
are
at
next
that.
up.
I'm better than
So
C-SPAN.
This should be interesting to see which of the 9 come in.
Look at that. I called it.
Who do you think will be there?
Oh, man, that's depressing. How many of these have I watched? Oh, no.
Will be there.
When I'm able to call these things before C-SPAN, that means I watch too much
His
C-SPAN. Is
praises
what that
last
is.
week for his dissent in this tariff ruling. He said
No
Justice
fun,
Kavanaugh's
right?
stock
That's
is
what they
rising.
call me. No fun, Benny.
So
I don't go party.
It would be
I don't go out to the
Justice
bars.
Kavanaugh being among
I don't drink
the
anymore.
justices
I don't
there.
go to sports.
And,
I watch
Chief
C-SPAN.
Justice Roberts almost has
What a
to.
nerd.
Yeah, I think I was trying to think if he has to.
I'm
or
so
if
sorry.
they-
Yes, I'm
they
so
give
sorry.
him
You have
that
to.
he has
Yeah.
to.
I'm so sorry. You
I
had to
think we
find
will
out this
actually
way.
See all 3 of the justices
I haven't
that
seen.
the president.
Why don't we
got
mute
in his
here?
last term, even though
'Cause
Neil
I don't want to hear two
Gorsuch
people
and Amy
talking.
Coney Barrett are not in
That's
the
my
president's
feed.
good graces.
Not C-SPAN's feed. Take that, C-SPAN. Ha! Ha! I drink your milkshake. Okay, so, well, we haven't seen Team USA yet. We haven't seen the hockey team yet. But up in the gallery, this is presumably where they're going to be seated, unless they're going to do something cool, which we've never seen before, which is maybe them walking in. All right, we got this. We got neckbeard right there. But yeah, soon to be Supreme Court justices. Let's see. Is Roberts, Kavanaugh. Let's listen in here. Roberts, Kavanaugh, Kagan. Only 4. And Amy Coney Barrett. 4 Supreme Court justices. Okay. Tough week for Trump at the Supreme Court. Tariffs ruling. But that's okay. Boo. The chat is booing Amy Coney Barrett. Boo goes the chat. Baby, we got 3 minutes to Trump. Let's go. So they've seated the Supreme Court. Then they're going to seat the cabinet is going to be next. And President Trump, man, really cool photo. President Trump with the gold medal. Trump, I don't think we should take away from it, but ALX just sent in Trump with the gold medal right there. They popped a gold medal on Donald Trump. It's pretty awesome. All right. Yeah. I don't know, Klein. I mean, I don't want to jump away from the feed here because we're 2 minutes to 9 o'clock. 3 minutes to 9 o'clock. And we are rocking, ladies and gentlemen. We are rocking. Chris Leader is here from America First Policy Institute. He told me he didn't want to be on camera. We'll see if that holds up. He's the only America, that we've partnered with America First to talk housing policy. We got a number of housing policy questions in tonight. We're going to hear hopefully a lot about housing from the president. And it's always an honor to partner with America First. America First, AFPI helped us with our setup today. Obviously, we are not DC based. They are. And so we're going to be doing a lot of work with them. Awesome organization. They're very unsung, but let me just do a quick shout out here. Where do you think the legislation comes from? Where do you think the executive orders come from? Somebody's got to write these things. Somebody's got to actually put pen to paper and get the America First ideas. And there's Usha Vance right there. She's pregnant, right? Usha announced that they are expecting their 3rd child. Glory to God. Beautiful. And America First Policy Institute is one of those just incredible places that's very unsung heroes in Washington, D.C., because they actually still, the business of this city is done through pen and paper and through words. There's Barron Trump standing there whispering into his father's ear, "Send the post, father. Send the tweet, father. Father, send the post. Mog them, father. Frame mog them, father. Father, you should be freedom maxing." Here we go. Here comes the Melania Trump introduction. So Melania is in the house.
She announced earlier that she was bringing.
Yeah, let's get. I mean, we give her. Yeah, she get a little kiss to Barron. Remember when Barron was just a little tyke in the first administration? They grow up so fast. Yeah, that's right. Little Barron with a fidget spinner on a plane.
Hercules 20-volt brushless power tools are as good as the best for a whole lot less. Only at Harbor Freight.
Mike Duggan has actually lowered healthcare costs. He delivered affordable health insurance and cheaper prescription drugs.
In modern American history, the Melania documentary. And here comes the cabinet. Let's go. Let's listen in.
We knew Secretary
Marco Rubio, Andy Besant, Treasury. Okay, you're going to mark the list? Okay. We'll look, and we'll mark. You see Mr. Hegseth, Defense, or Department of War?
I think I see Bondi.
Pam Bondi.
Well, those are the big ones. Not having them in the room would be very.
Yeah, the four, RFK Jr., Health and Human Services. Secretary
Turner,
HUD.
Chavez Ramirez.
Yeah, a little bit of controversy. I see that they dropped the charges, though, against her husband. If you're interested, if you go to Politico and type in labor secretary, you can read the story. There were some charges filed against her husband, sexual harassment charges, but they have been dropped. There's Linda McMahon.
Okay, yeah, enough of this. I'll do the voiceover. Thank you, Klein. Yeah, it looks like I don't need to hear a bunch of tabloid trash. C-SPAN, come on. Yeah, whatever. We love C-SPAN anyway. There's our friend Lee Zeldin, totally based. Gave us an awesome tour of the EPA. Like some of his first days there. Nobody was in the office. That was wild. Susie Wiles, of course. Russ Vogt. And Tulsi, friend of the show. She was on our stream last year, but they didn't allow any of the cabinet secretaries to do any media this year. So it's not like they didn't want to come on the program and say hi to you, but they said, why don't we just sort of rank and file, let the president speak for all of us, and what's up, right? And what's up? Here's RFK. You're just chilling with him and Kid Rock. We got Kristi Noem. Probably not going to get a lot of handshakes from Democrat side of the aisle for Kristi. We got the Kelly Loeffler. She is the small business administration. She's been live in studio with us. She's awesome. She's back from Italy. It's Raisin Cane. Raisin Cane. And Sean Duffy. Yo, do we get like a... Do we get a... yeah, dude. Do we get a Jared Isaacman? Oh, here it's a CIA director. Somebody grab him and shake him, and I want to see the Epstein files. Grab him. I'm not allowed to advocate for that. Grab him. Ratcliffe. Give us the Epstein files from the CIA and the JFK files. Ratcliffe. We saw him at a Christmas party this year. He's totally nice. Totally nice dude. But come on. Give us the Kennedy files. There's John Kennedy. Robert Kennedy. Total baller. And a selfie taker. Yeah, Steve Witkoff. Kind of like walking out of frame there. Steve Witkoff's chill. Negotiates every damn deal for this administration. Hey, Alex, do we see Jared Isaacman? Is the NASA administrator get to walk in? Did I miss Jared Isaacman? Or does he not do this? Don Jr. is there. So the whole Trump family is there. Whoa. Okay. It'd be really cool. Y'all know Jared Isaacman. He's the NASA administrator. Really rad dude. We will be bringing all of you live with us to the Artemis launch to head back to the moon. We'll be doing that next month. AFPI, you want to come with us? That'd be fun. Okay. I'm sure there's plenty of policy when it comes to space exploration. AFPI, our dear friends here, again, couldn't have gotten this stream done without their team. Massive shout out in the chat to AFPI. You got to check out their work. You got to put pen to paper. The people that actually write the laws in this country. That's why it's critical to partner with them. We can sit there all day and bang on the table and bluster and talk about things we want to have changed. Do you know how you actually have to do it? It sucks. It sucks. You got to write legislation. You got to write executive orders. You got to explain these things to the American people. So, like, instead of just sitting there and bitching and complaining and crying all day in my little podcast studio, we're partnering with the people that can actually get the laws written so we can actually get things done. You've already seen some of the major effects on housing policy, but there are so much more of that to come. So there are two levels. You've got to be able to hit the grassroots level, and this is what we try and do every single day. We make everything from funny memes, cover images, going out into the wild. Man, Jared Isaacman, bro, we just flew on jets with him. He's the NASA administrator. He's flying me in a jet. I'm in like a fighter jet upside down with Jared Isaacman 2 months ago. So cool. Anyway, of course, we're filming all of it and taking you with us everywhere so you can see and understand the world around you. So you got to gain critical mass. But then you've actually got to have a plan. And the way that plan gets implemented is you got to write that legislation and get it passed. So that's what we're going to do with the SAVE Act. Chris, come on, man. You guys had a big hand in the SAVE Act. You're probably helpful all the time in the SAVE Act. Yes, right. Yeah? Fantastic. Okay. Got to get across the finish line. Chris is over here. He says he doesn't want to be on camera. Chris, you're not going to come in. You're not going to come in and give like a shout out to AFPI? All right. For heaven's sakes. No? Okay. All right. Fine. All right. Well, anyway, we're thankful for our partners, and we're most of all thankful for you. We just want to thank you for watching, for trusting us on this channel to tell these stories, to bring you as much access as we can possibly get. Last year, we had 3 cabinet secretaries on. This year, they shut that down. They said no cabinet secretaries can do any media this year. That's what they told us. So it's too bad, and that's true for all media. It's not us. It's true for all media. I think they'd far prefer them do our show and talk with you than to do CNN.
He talks a lot. Ah. Oh. Ah. Come on.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States. Second Lady of the United States. Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America. When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages. And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure. Thank you. Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before, and our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked, and America is respected again, perhaps like never before. After 4 years, in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country. The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year. And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%. Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline. Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem well, at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe. Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes. A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest. As thousands of new businesses are forming in factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, we have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil. American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector. We ended DEI in America. We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year, we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in. Go ahead.
Is that the Democrats' side? Why do we even have them? I don't understand if they're not cheering for USA.
First time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up. But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House.
Yeah. I thought that was them. Terrible.
They were in the Oval Office before. And I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there and they weren't about to say no, because I'd never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck. Think of it, 46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off. You practiced that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case, my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best. And I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no. And every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you all. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much. I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country. And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in the first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup. So we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming. And that is exciting news. So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday. So, Buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas, one of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety. People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate. And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you. And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together, we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans. All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts. They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And we also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America. Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening, and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and our expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it. I did not name it. I did not name that. Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the third row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people. You know, I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school and I made computers and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling. And pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops. So I congratulate him on that. But I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad. So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. It's setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Right? Moving forward, factories, jobs, investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America. For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word they just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem. They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%, Madam Secretary. Thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great healthcare plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost. In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened. And now I'm bringing them way down on healthcare and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before. Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action, but I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere, the lowest price. So in my first year of the second term, should be my third term, but strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more, all available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way. And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big. Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase. But a few weeks ago, she logged onto the Trump RX website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500, a reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom. So now I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing, I'm not sure it matters because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes. And now I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. It's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year, as we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market. Let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she was there? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay. I wasn't sure if anybody, even on this side, was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. He'll get it done. Find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah. Delilah Colton was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up. Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
stand up for that either. Oh my God.
And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight, I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight, I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. Oh, man. All they care about themselves. Oh. Why are they there?
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. That cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats, 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens.
Why are they laughing? Somebody is laughing.
And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things you almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John. And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up.
Oh my God.
And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately. Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Amazing. Incredible. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Huh? No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady, now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that? Over the past year, she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing a landmark executive order on foster care, and helping secure $30 million to launch the Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. It's a tremendous, really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both. And Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much. I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal. This is especially true among young people, And a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man. So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand. Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind. We love religion, and we love bringing it back, and it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zaretska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail, stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zaretska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina. How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there. Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen? In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of the sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Evalie. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like it. So sorry. Thank you very much. She's a great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night. And she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone. But his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
With her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over.
Pretty quick.
Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying. And after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right. Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much. So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late, great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart. We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? Sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the prime minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared. And I also want to thank the man they report to, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. People don't like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever. Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. It was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back, but we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the 9th war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the The United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer. Good. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protests, 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republicans in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed at my very strong request to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 2. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently. And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute. For one more dollar, we can have $1,776. It's going to I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. One more dollar, I said $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it. So we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched, they saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby because we did that. My baby is becoming so important. And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice. And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down.
Where's Tina Peters at? Tina Peters.
Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter. A big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter. To deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, 2 machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission. We probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take the searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs of the bullets and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife, Amy. Eric and Amy, come on in. So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor. Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy. Great to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg, we have it back, we brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House, and Eric will be there. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before we go. He is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor. Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and that's a big thing, and it's an honor to be in the same room with you. Thank you both very much, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. 250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. Two of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we've achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together, we mastered the world's mightiest industries and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies. And we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel. And then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture. And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years, they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Oh, boy. Well, now we know Trump was right about the Democrats. Can't believe how evil they are. That was terrible. Terrible, terrible what they did again. Oh, nope, Trump fault. It's Trump fault, so they don't stand up. Okay, what a day of intel today. We made it, but no big news. No big news what we thought was going to happen, but at least we know how evil the Democrat people are. They don't care about America at all. Yeah, you're right. The Supreme, people didn't either. Yeah, I go. Yep, we saved America just in time. Okay, everybody. What a night, what a day. A lot of good stuff out today. I had more, but I can't do this 24 hours. So tomorrow evening, I don't know if I can handle 2 shows for a couple of days. So thanks the mods. I think okay, Carol, Tim, Lucy. Everybody have a great night, and one day at a time. One day at a time. We'll see you guys all tomorrow evening. Have a good night, everybody. Above, remember, please hit the like and sub to the backup channels in the prescription box, please. Thank you. And stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith, and never give up. Chico and News signing off for another day of intel, you guys. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.